Hope that you are encouraged already by being with us. We're thankful that you are here. Sure hope that this coming Sunday you'll make your plans not only to be here, but also to bring a family member or a friend with you. For next week, it's our Friends and Family Day, so please plan to be with us and bring a friend, a neighbor, a family member with you so that we can enjoy the day of worship together. Then we can share a meal together and come back and sing and worship together again in the afternoon. It will be a splendid day, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity for us to be together. It's always a good time for us to do that. Even though it doesn't feel like it, because it is still shorts and t-shirt weather. Last night at the Fall Fest at the Owens house, even if we could have had a fire, it would not have been able to be lit until well after the sun went down because it was still warm yesterday afternoon. So the fall weather has just not found us yet. But hopefully before long it will. But we're close. We're close to hearing, whether the temperature agrees with it or not, we're close to hearing Christmas songs. You know that's going to happen to you when you go to the mall or you go over to some shopping area where they are trying to encourage your thinking in that way, and the radio is going to get that way pretty soon. Thinking back, I really didn't have, you always hear about that aunt, maybe some of you had an aunt like this that was just terrible at giving and selecting Christmas presents for you when you were 7 or 8 years old. You remember that woman that you were dying for a particular thing, you know, this cool robot or this awesome dress, and instead you got something so far-fetched that nobody in their right mind would have ever selected that. And you've got this poor family member that you've got to show grace to and respect, and there's just a bad track record for some people about selecting gifts. I didn't really have that experience, but I have had the experience of getting something that I knew I wanted, and then once I had it, I was like, wow, that is a piece of junk. You ever had that expression? Okay, where you just knew it was going to be the grandest thing ever, and then you actually got it, and it was like, that does not even remotely satisfy. So that's why the gift card industry has exploded, okay? You can buy a gift card because if you are aiming at a perfect gift, sincerely, sometimes you miss, even with the best of intentions. I don't know why Mother didn't approve when I bought her a lawnmower for her birthday. I thought it was a good idea. I didn't do that. That's just a joke. But the point is that sometimes a gift just doesn't satisfy. James 1. James 1. James 1. 16. Don't be deceived. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. Sometimes when I think about those moments where I was either expecting someone to give a better gift and they didn't, or when I got the very thing that I wanted and it really didn't translate into something that was all that grand, as I look back now as a mature or a maturer person, I see that part of the problem was not with Aunt Edna's choice of this cool sweater vest so much as it was my attitude toward that thing. And it really was my disposition that even though that year the robot helicopter was said to be the coolest thing and that it would bring my life incredible joy, the truth of the matter is that I was kind of selling myself out to a joy that wasn't true, a joy that really wasn't realistic, a joy that wasn't necessarily as fulfilling as I thought that it might be. And so as I have gotten older, maybe there has been the occasion in my adult years where someone has gotten me a gift that I just didn't really care all that much about. But my reaction to that has totally changed to when I was much younger. There's never been a day in my adulthood where someone has thought about me, where I hope not anyhow, that I have just been, having or reflecting that similar attitude of what I had when I was in my youth, in some way disappointed. Now, let's take that information and sort of put some spiritual skin on it in light of what James just said. Listen to how he starts. This is so surprising to me. But how he starts the passage off, he says, listen, brothers, don't be deceived. Oh, it's true. Even into our adulthood, we can be deceived. Can't we? Have you not been hoodooed into thinking that something would be good for you to do as an adult? Have you not had that experience where a gift was dangling out here in front of you and you said to yourself, hey, that looks great. That looks like the very thing that I want this year. And you go after it, you grab it, you get all up in it, and then you find that it's nothing like what you thought. Its reality doesn't satisfy, and if it's something vile, if it's something that's against God, we have been hoodwinked into believing because it was presented as a gift. Look at how special it is. I'll wrap it for you. I'll make it appealing to the eye, to the touch, to the taste, to the delight of a man's senses. And the devil hangs that out there. And we ourselves as adults, we all know that we have fallen prey to that very idea. That's why James says, hey, do not be hoodwinked. There will be lots of offers in your spiritual encounter. And some things will be presented as if they are a gift. Think about the woman in Proverbs chapter 7, whose husband is away on a long journey, and she throws herself out into the street. She's perfumed from head to toe. She's got special lotions on. She has a bed prepared with fine linen. It smells good in there. And she comes out and kisses her man. It's a gift. It's a gift. It's hanging right there. And the poor fellow that accepts that and runs after that, gets in a bed of a woman that belongs to another man, the proverb writer later says, is like taking hot coals and putting it in your lap when you're sitting down. Don't think you won't get burned. It'll burn you. See, it has the appeal of a gift. It looks sensible. It looks enjoyable. It looks entertaining. And it strikes at our senses, at our desires. And because of that, many are the victim that go her way. Many are. Don't be deceived. Wasn't David the man after God's own heart? Deceived by that? Viewing from his castle a gift across the way, bathing. A gift that belonged to another man, yes, but there she was, after all. And there he was, all alone, and there he was capable of bringing her to himself. Oh, this is the wife of Uriah. Yes, I know who she is, but she looks really good. And it looks like a gift to me. And what looked like a gift, smelled like a gift, and tasted like a gift caused him grief. Caused him grief. Do not be hoodooed. Every good and perfect gift is from above. There have been many a times that I have intended, sincerely, I have intended on offering a gift. I've intended on offering a gift to my wife or my children or to you. And the truth of the matter is that even though I had that intention, I just couldn't deliver. I tried and it came out and it was something less than what I wanted it to be because of my own mind, because of my own limitations, because I'm a man full of weakness. I wanted it to be a good thing for you, but the truth of the matter is that I led you into something that looked like a bad deal. God doesn't do that. Listen to it, every good and perfect gift comes down from heaven. You know as good as I do that there's a lot of food options that are out there, right? Brandon, we were eating over at Brock and Leslie's last night, and Brandon May was behind me in the line, and we were both eyeballing the donuts that were plentiful. And he looked at me and he said, "Preacher, do you want a fat pill?" It sort of puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Okay? There the gift was. It was beautifully presented, even in a Halloween box. How can you go wrong? It's got Krispy Kreme on the top. But the contents of that box may not necessarily produce some good effect for me. Listen to God. Don't be deceived. Every good, God doesn't give fat pills. God doesn't give to you ever something that is bad for you. Can you understand the complexity and the beautiful, simple strength that is in that? God gives you every good and perfect gift. So if God offers something to you, you can know for sure that it is not spiritually comparable to a Krispy Kreme donut. It's going to be something that is good for you, something that will help you, make you strong, make you serve His purposes. Just for instance, turn over to Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5. Every good, perfect gift is from above. Galatians 5, beginning of verse 16, Paul says, "So I say, live by the Spirit, and you'll not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the sinful nature desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the sinful nature. They're in conflict with each other, so that you do not do what you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, then you're not under law. The acts of the sinful nature are obvious." Here are some gifts. Oh, these things look pretty. Sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissension, faction, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warned you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ have crucified the sinful nature with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. All of that, Paul says, James would have this comment: that is good. Every good and perfect gift, what you just read, is a good and perfect gift. It comes down from heaven. This is not earthly. It's not of the devil. It's not satisfying our human desires. Rather, this is a good present for you and for me. To see these things that must be cut away from us. To embrace these things that be before us, that are supposed to fill us. All of these things, there's not a single thing on that page that you can say, well, I just don't know about that. That may not be good for me. Every good and perfect gift is from above. Listen to what he says. Coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights. Every good thing comes from the maker of the heavenly lights. Do you know that I was just hearing about this. I've not really tried it. I'd like to, though. There is an app where if you're in the pitch dark, you can kind of hold your phone out to the night sky, and somehow the programming, I don't understand all that. It's a little bit above me. But the programming allows the phone to pick up the order of certain stars, and it can point out to you on your phone constellations, star patterns, etc., etc. Now, why is that? Well, I can't understand all the computer technicalities of that, but I can tell you why they can set an algorithm, a repeatable thing, to the sky, because it doesn't change. It stays the same. The earth is spinning, and it is going around the sun. God is the giver of all these perfect good things. And the evidence that that can be trusted is found in this simple comparison. He is the maker, the Father of the heavenly lights. But He is not like a shifting shadow. Come back tonight at 5 o'clock, and all these shadows across this room will look different, won't they? They will. Come back at nightfall and stand in the same place, and you won't see any shadows. A shadow is just fleeting, and it's constantly in motion. From the minute, the time the sun hits that tree, and the tree is casting a shadow down the ground, it is always in transition. God is not like that chasing shadow that's maybe here today, maybe not. What if it's cloudy? Then there's no shadow, even in broad daylight. It's possible. God is not like that. God is like the consistency of the night sky. These stars that are situated in their place. All these planets we know are moving around. We've found that out. Man, there's been some smart men that studied the intricate movements of things that look like stars with ease, but they figured out that those things kept moving. And the other stars that look like stars to these were being still. And so they figured all that out. That's brilliant. Somebody is brilliant-minded. I'm proud they figured that out. God is the maker of these heavenly lights. His measure of consistency is like them. He will never, ever bring you something that is bad for you. I have meant good and brought bad. Sometimes I have flat out meant to bring bad. That's true. God is like neither of those two images of me. Every good and perfect gift comes from above. From the Father of the heavenly lights, who's not like a shifting shadow. He's not like that. Okay, so Here's the last question. If God is giving you something, are you calling him Aunt Edna? Come on, really? A sweater vest? I've done it. But I'm telling you that God ain't Edna. He's never going to give you something that doesn't fit. He's never going to give you something that'll wear out. He's never going to give you something that needs repairing. Every single thing that God ever gives you will satisfy you to the deepest parts in the most enjoyable way. He is the giver of every good thing. If you're looking at God as Aunt Edna, I'm telling you now, it's not on God's fault. It's on your attitude, and you can change that. I have been there. The thing that is needed if you are in that spot is a release of the feeling that you need to be judging whether or not this is a good gift or not. I tell you, if you are looking at this and you are saying, oh yes, there are some parts of it here that are good for me, and maybe some other parts that aren't so good. It's the darkness in you that is saying that it's not good. Every good and perfect gift, every comes from above. From a God who is not Aunt Edna, but one who is merciful and faithful, consistent as the stars. And the truth is that upon every generation, including our own, that truth has remained the same. Open your arms to the gifts of the perfect giver. You will not find yourself thirsty nor unsatisfied. Breathe that in, and it'll change your life. This morning, if you need to come to Christ, He is calling. If we can aid you in that, we encourage you to come as together we stand and sing.